You were not a public figure, not so interested in becoming one. You were more of a private guy, and this is one of the things you had to wrestle with when you decided to propose to me.
Megyn Kelly has been in a lot of places at once, and for different roles, people have had mixed reactions. Her mind is sharp, her speech is clear, and she never holds back. On the other hand, she has a history of controversy and is notorious for stirring things up too much, which has cost her multiple high-profile jobs. For some, she represents the anti-PC movement, while for others, she is just another famous person whose blatant disregard for racial diversity has caused some to look askance, or even to accuse her of being racist or tone-deaf. Today, though, her marriage, or more accurately, the aftermath of it, has thrust her back into the limelight, rather than her political career. All the drama around it will be broken down in this video. However, before we get into the meat of the matter, allow me to reacquaint you with Megyn Kelly and the circumstances behind her return. Megyn Kelly came from a long line of educators and family historians in Champaign, Illinois, where she was born on November 18, 1970. Edward was a professor, while Linda remained at home to raise their daughter. Growing up with her siblings Pete, Suzanne, and Kelly, Kelly's mother's family had Irish ancestry, and her father's had Italian and German. Unfortunately, things weren't always rosy. The loss of Kelly's father to a heart attack when she was 15 years old had a profound effect on her formative years. As a result of her mother's subsequent marriage, Kelly now has a stepsister and a stepbrother. Kelly was a nomadic child. She journeyed from Syracuse, New York to Del Mar, an Albany suburb, before settling down. Her aspirations began to take shape during her time at Bethlehem Central High School. Never one to rest on her laurels, she continued her academic pursuits after graduating from high school, earning a degree in political science in 1992 from Syracuse University and a law degree in 1995 from Albany Law School. Kelly began her legal career in Chicago, where she worked as an associate attorney at first. At the beginning of her career, she achieved a notable feat by co-authoring a paper in 1996 for the Journal of the American Bar Association. After that, she worked for 9 years at the prestigious Jones Day legal firm, representing major clients such as Experian. Even though her career would soon take a drastically different turn, her time as a lawyer molded her into the fearless, ambitious girl we know today. Megyn Kelly's long, exhausting hours were starting to catch up with her as she was quickly climbing the partner ladder at her legal company. She chose to try her hand at reporting after feeling the need for a change. Despite her lack of experience, she began approaching television stations with a sample reel that she had put together with the assistance of a friend after finishing an internship at NBC News in Chicago and taking a class. As a freelance reporter for WJLA-TV in Washington, D.C., Kelly got her start in the industry in 2003 after making the big move to Baltimore. She covered big issues like the 2004 U.S. presidential election while also practicing law at WJLA-TV. But Fox News stepped in at the exact moment she was considering making it her full-time job. Kim Huffman, Fox's chief Washington bureau head, and her husband Britt Hume, a famous Fox anchor, were both intrigued by Kelly's reel. Roger Ailes, Fox's chief executive officer, was soon after, and Kelly soon received an offer of employment. She became a familiar figure on Special Report with Britt Hume and The O'Reilly Factor, frequently filling in as a guest host after a short while. In 2006, she gained early notoriety for her coverage of the contentious lacrosse case at Duke University, in which multiple white players faced accusations of assaulting a black woman at a social event. After initially taking heat for casting doubt on the accusations, Kelly's reporting was ultimately justified when the charges were eventually withdrawn. She became known for her unflinching stance on controversial issues, which was further cemented by that occasion. Joining Bill Hemmer as co-hosts of America's Newsroom in 2007 was a huge professional move for Megyn. In 2010, because to her increasing fame, she was able to land a solo role on America Live, a 2-hour afternoon news program. During the 2012 presidential election, she gained widespread prominence when, co-hosted with Bret Baier, she reported on the results on America's Election HQ. The moment that became viral was when Republican strategist Karl Rove argued that Mitt Romney had won Ohio. Not content to simply accept his word for it, Kelly departed from the set and made her way to the back room, where Fox's analysts verified Barack Obama's victory. Some viewers were taken aback by her daring decision since they thought Fox would maintain its typical conservative biases. Kelly landed her own primetime show, The Kelly File, in 2013. She portrayed it as a news analysis program that stood aside from Fox's more opinion-driven programming. Many people, regardless of their political leanings, respected her for her direct, no-nonsense manner of inquiry. But her political position was never black and white. On topics like homosexual rights and the invasion of Iraq, she disagreed with traditional conservative thinking. Along with her vehement opposition to social justice demonstrations, she also adopted a hard line against the Obama administration. Many people were confused about Kelly's political leanings since she claimed to be an independent. Audiences were captivated by her method. With her familiar face at Fox News, Megyn Kelly returned to co-host their coverage of the 2016 presidential election. Taking on Donald Trump in the inaugural Republican debate was a particularly noteworthy moment in her capacity as debate moderator. One of the most prominent campaign stories was the intense dispute that began when she asked him pointed questions about his previous remarks about women. In addition to making headlines, Trump's personal attacks on Kelly catapulted her into the limelight, which she had never anticipated. But it wasn't all roses for her while she was at Fox News. Roger Ailes stepped down as head of the network in 2016 after multiple women, including Kelly, accused him of sexual harassment. In her subsequent memoir, Settle for More, she spoke frankly about her experiences and the poisonous atmosphere on cable news. While appearing on The Ellen DeGeneres Show, she was honest about how Trump aided in making her professional decisions. She hadn't considered herself politically active before joining Fox, but the high-stakes nature of primetime news caused her to reevaluate her career goals. Bill O'Reilly warned Kelly that primetime cable television is full with snakes, as Kelly recounted. She wanted to present the news without the drama after confronting Trump's controversial tweets directed at her. She decided she didn't want to be in that poisonous environment anymore. By the end of January 2017, she had landed a new daytime show on NBC and had left Fox News. Megyn Kelly Today was her opportunity to start over, taking on a career that was more authentic and in line with her journalistic aspirations. However, not even that was long-lasting. Megyn Kelly was in a bit of a bind after her departure from Fox News because a non-compete clause prevented her from accepting any new jobs until July 2017. Though it wasn't ideal, she was able to reflect on her next steps because of it. After leaving Fox, one of her initial bold steps was to secure an interview with Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia. Her first public appearance was on a panel at the 2017 St. Petersburg International Economic Forum, and her second was an interview that debuted on June 4, 2017, as part of Sunday Night with Megyn Kelly. Both events served as a springboard for her subsequent work. Her daytime talk show, Megyn Kelly Today, debuted in September 2017, and she was allegedly earning $15–20 million annually from NBC. Her news magazine show was originally scheduled to return for the summer of 2018, but plans changed, and it was never renewed. Her passion since 2017 was reporting news for Dateline NBC, therefore she devoted herself to that instead. Things became dicey in October 2018 when Kelly made some contentious remarks about blackface on Megyn Kelly Today. Reminiscing about her upbringing, she implied that it was acceptable as long as one was dressed as a character, which deeply offended many. The criticism was severe, even though she apologized quickly. The following day, on October 26th, NBC made the decision to discontinue her show. Her tenure at NBC officially came to a close on January 11, 2019. despite rumors that she may have been considering a return to reporting. The good news is that she was able to pay off the remaining balance of her contract with a tidy $30 million. Megyn Kelly launched Devil May Care Media, her media production company, in September 2020 after stepping away from the spotlight. A podcast hosted by Megyn Kelly, The Megyn Kelly Show, premiered as part of this endeavor on September 28, 2020. She spoke on a variety of subjects that struck a chord with her audience thanks to her signature combination of candor and insight. The news that The Megyn Kelly Show would be returning to Sirius XM on September 7, 2021, resurfaced the show in July of that year. Featuring a video simulcast, it was broadcast on the Triumph Talk radio station every weekday at 12 o'clock ET. Keeping her captivating and thought-provoking style, Kelly was able to expand her audience with this shift, marking a major milestone in her career. Kelly mentioned that she needed to join SAG-AFTRA for a secret project in early 2023, hinting at something wonderful that was about to happen. Announced on November 30, 2023, she will co-star with Danny Trejo, Roseanne Barr, and Adam Carolla in the Daily Wire's upcoming animated comedy series, Mr. Burham, which will launch in early 2024. She proved her adaptability and eagerness to take on new challenges by making a sudden move into animation. Kelly went back to her political journalism origins in December 2023, when she co-hosted News Nation's fourth Republican primary debate with Elizabeth Vargas and Eliana Johnson. She was able to solidify her position as a leading voice in political commentary in this position, which combined her experience in law with her knowledge of the media. Both Megyn's public and private lives have been full of twists and turns, controversy, and career changes be damned. Raising 3 children while juggling the responsibilities of a mother, wife, and public figure has not been easy for her. She has also experienced the breakup of her first marriage. Kelly has been forthright about the difficulties of balancing work and personal life, particularly in a field that relishes controversy. Daniel Kelly, an anesthesiologist, was Megyn Kelly's first husband. The couple wed on September 29, 2001. They appeared to have a strong connection after meeting at a bustling Chicago street festival, but they had peacefully ended their relationship by 2006. They ended their marriage for understandable reasons. They couldn't agree on how to start a family. Kelly has been very forthright about how their relationship was already strained because she wasn't emotionally prepared to take the next step. While this was going on, Kelly was concerned that their divergent personalities and hectic work schedules were straining their marriage. Megyn Kelly's romantic life took a positive turn after her breakup with Daniel Kelly when she met novelist and ex-CEO of a cybersecurity company, Douglas Brunt. They met on a blind date in 2006 and were engaged after only 14 months of dating. Kelly came clean about how bewildered she was by her feelings for Brunt at first. He was unlike any of her previous relationships. He lacked the ostentatious charm of her previous partners, but made up for it with his kindness, intelligence, and self-assurance, remaining unfazed by her fiery personality. Dealing with a stalker was just one of the many difficulties that Megyn Kelly had to face while in the spotlight. Because of this, even on her initial dates with Douglas Brunt, she was accompanied by security guards everywhere she went. Brunt took a lighthearted approach by comparing their predicament to that of a couple of high school sophomores attending the prom with a security detail. They seemed prepared for anything, but Brunt wanted nothing more than to relax and get to know Kelly. The presence of her bodyguards made their first kiss all the more awkward, but unforgettable. Kelly remembered that it was awkward for them both, and that it felt more like a humiliating situation than a romantic one. The following day, she took a risk and returned to Brunt's hotel unaccompanied by her guards, hoping to relieve the tension and interact more freely in an intimate setting. She wanted a serious relationship, and they were handling some unique circumstances together, so it was a big step. Even the most resilient couples sometimes experience difficulties in a long-distance relationship, and Megyn Kelly and Douglas Brunt were no exception. While visiting Kelly during the holidays, Brunt and Kelly got into an argument on New Year's Eve while walking Kelly's dogs. As things became worse, Brunt unintentionally let one leash slip, almost allowing their dog Bailey to be hit by a car. The quarrel wasn't over the dog per se, but it did represent the hidden conflicts they'd been experiencing over their shared destiny. After breaking up that night, the pair had a heart-to-heart the next morning and discovered how much they cared for each other. All of a sudden, Brunt decided to pop the question sooner than he had anticipated after this sincere discussion. He then went out and purchased a costume ring, waiting for the perfect opportunity to pop the question. Their relationship reached a tipping point in September 2007. They said "I do" at the picturesque Long Island location of Oheka Castle on March 1, 2008. Since then, the pair has welcomed 3 children, Edward, Yates, Yardley Evans, and Thatcher Bray, into their vibrant family. In the midst of her explosive career, Brunt has been there for her, encouraging her at every turn. The difficulties they endured, Kelly says time and time again, only served to deepen their connection. She said on her SiriusXM show in honor of their 15th anniversary that her relationship with her partner has been the greatest blessing in her life. She went on to say, "Nothing in my life has been as fulfilling to me as that relationship," meaning her bond with Brunt laid the groundwork for her love for her children. Not only is he married to Megyn Kelly, but he is also an accomplished writer with a kind heart. He was born in Philadelphia on August 25, 1971, and spent his childhood in the suburbs. He began his academic career at the Harvard School and continued it at Duke University. He continued his education by attending Georgetown University to earn an MBA. After finishing college, Brunt began working for a money market firm before moving on to Booz Allen Hamilton as a consultant. Prior to his notable position as president and chief executive officer of the internet security firm Authenti, which he held until 2011, he even dabbled in venture finance. When Brunt sold Authenti to ComeTouch that year, he chose to take a break from corporate life, and it was a turning moment for him. Curiously, he found his calling as a writer while he was a student at Authenti. Initially, as a means of relaxation, Brunt would scribble down tales while commuting from New York to Florida. He was dissatisfied with his job and started to think about writing seriously as a career choice while dealing with an ineffective board of directors and investors. Brunt confided in Kelly and their son about his workplace frustrations during a sincere talk that took place while they were strolling through the park. After Kelly took note of his irritability and depression, they began talking about how he could benefit from a change. Even though it wasn't a career decision, he was already drafting the first draft of his debut novel just to pass the time on long trips. A turning point in Brunt's career occurred when Kelly read that draft and offered words of encouragement. The sale of the company allowed Brunt to finally devote herself to writing full-time. After landing an agency, he was able to get a book deal. Since then, he has released 3 novels, one of which was Ghosts of Manhattan, which became a New York Times bestseller. In September 2023, his first non-fiction book, The Mysterious Case of Rudolph Diesel, was issued. One podcast that Douglas Brunt started in 2022 is Dedicated with Doug Brunt, in which he discusses various topics with best-selling authors while they sip on their favorite beverages. Before he had released his debut novel, ideas for the program were already brewing. In his younger years, as a voracious reader who fantasized about striking up conversations with authors he loved, he read Nelson DeMille's The Gold Coast and imagined how great it would be to sit down with the author and have a relaxed chat, similar to friends catching up over a drink. His podcast evolved from that concept. In it, he had lively conversations with authors over drinks. Listeners get a glimpse into the writer's personalities and the creative process through this style. It's less like an interview and more like a casual get-together with friends because of the casual and informal approach to literary discussions. Megyn has been happily married to Doug for 16 years. They recently celebrated their anniversary. Nevertheless, she is still working on getting her first marriage annulled as of 2024. She and her first husband are still close, even though she never finished the annulment procedure. For reasons like gaining absolution in confession, which are complicated by her Catholic beliefs, this circumstance is very essential to her.